Imagine waking up each morning feeling as though you're stepping into a hidden battlefield. Every glance, every word, a potential landmine. Emotional abuse leaves no visible scars, but it steadily reshapes your brain's architecture. The constant put downs, the sly undermining, the strategic silence, they don't bruise your skin, but over time, they do bruise your brain. So, what does emotional abuse exactly do to the brain? At the heart of this transformation is the amygdala, a small almond shaped cluster of neurons that functions as your internal smoke detector. In a healthy brain, it flickers on only when there is genuine danger. But under relentless emotional abuse, the amygdala becomes hypersensitive, locked in a perpetual on position. A curt text, a raised eyebrow, even a momentary pause in conversation triggers the same flood of stress hormones that would surge during a real threat. Parallel to the amygdala's overdrive, the prefrontal cortex, often dubbed the brain's executive center, begins to shrink under sustained stress. This region governs decision-making, self-control, and emotional regulation. As cortisol levels climb day after day, they erode the very cells responsible for rational thought. Victims of emotional abuse commonly report feeling stuck in fight or flight mode, unable to think clearly or assert themselves when it matters most. Instead of weighing options calmly, they respond with impulsivity or freeze with indecision. Meanwhile, the hippocampus, the seahorse-shaped region critical for forming and retrieving memories, suffers collateral damage. Beyond these core regions, emotional abuse also disrupts the brain's reward and social processing systems. The region for pleasure and motivation can become blunted, leaving survivors to lose interest in activities they once enjoyed. This anhedonia often translates into withdrawal from hobbies, work, or social gatherings, reinforcing isolation and feeding a cycle of low mood. Victims can misread neutral expressions as hostile or fail to pick up on genuine signs of support, deepening mistrust and loneliness. Over time, these neural shifts can skew a person's social world. They're less rewarded by positive interactions and more threatened by ambiguous ones. Recognizing this helps explain why survivors often feel disconnected, even in safe environments, and underscores the importance of rebuilding social confidence through gradual, positive experiences. Prolonged exposure to high cortisol levels for a longer period literally kills neurons, resulting in memory lapses, fragmented recollections, and difficulty learning from past experiences. Survivors often describe these memory distortions as though their own life has become a jigsaw puzzle with missing pieces and mismatched fragments. This neurological hijacking manifests in everyday life as persistent anxiety that seems disproportionate to the situation, sudden gaps in memory, emotional numbness, and an overactive radar scanning for hidden threats. Many survivors report feeling like strangers in their own minds, haunted by second-guessing and paralyzed by indecision. These signs are not personal failings, but distress calls from your brain's overtaxed threat response system. Yet within this grim landscape lies hope. The brain's remarkable capacity for change, known as neuroplasticity, means that the very circuits twisted by abuse can be rewired through intentional practices and supportive relationships. Mindfulness meditation, for example, has been shown in MRI studies to decrease amygdala activity and increase gray matter density in the prefrontal cortex, enhancing emotional regulation and resilience. Just 10 minutes of daily focused breathing or body scan exercises can help begin to dial down the brain's alarm system, creating new neural pathways that favor calmness over panic. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, offers another powerful avenue for recovery. By systematically identifying and challenging distorted beliefs such as, I deserve this treatment, or I'm too sensitive, CBT helps survivors replace them with balanced, evidence-based thoughts. This cognitive restructuring reshapes connections in both the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus, reducing the emotional charge associated with abusive memories and strengthening rational self-appraisal. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, complements CBT by leveraging bilateral stimulation, often guided eye movements, to facilitate the adaptive reprocessing of traumatic memories. Clinical trials have revealed that EMDR can normalize cortisol responses and calm hyperactive amygdala circuits, enabling distressing events to be integrated as past experiences rather than ongoing threats. While formal therapies lay the groundwork for neural repair, healing also flourishes in the simplest acts of human connection. Positive social interactions trigger the release of oxytocin, a neuropeptide known as the trust hormone, which promotes the restoration of neural pathways damaged by abuse. A genuine compliment, a supportive hand on your shoulder, or even a warm conversation over coffee sends powerful messages of safety to your brain, fostering the growth of new circuits grounded in trust rather than fear. Practical steps can accelerate this natural recovery process. Begin by naming the abuse. Acknowledgement breaks its secret power. Commit to daily journaling. The act of writing strengthens certain networks and clarifies your thoughts. Practice setting small boundaries, deciding when you'll respond to messages or how you'll assert your needs. And celebrate each moment of assertiveness as evidence of your prefrontal cortex reclaiming authority. Building a robust support network is equally crucial. Isolation magnifies the brain's stress response, while connecting with a therapist helps in healing our brains. Seek out friends, family members, or support groups where you feel heard and validated. Each affirming interaction reinforces the truth of your experience and helps rewire the brain for safety and belonging. Professional guidance remains invaluable. Trauma-informed therapists can tailor interventions to your specific neural profile, helping you pace the work, navigate setbacks without self-blame, and track progress objectively. They celebrate every milestone, each reduction in anxiety, each clearer memory, each boundary respected, as concrete steps in the ongoing process of rewiring your brain. Recovery rarely follows a straight line. There will be days when panic surges or memories resurface as shards of pain. Yet every meditation session, therapy appointment, journal entry, supportive conversation, and boundary set contributes to the cumulative renewal of your brain's architecture. Emotional abuse may cloak itself in silence and subtlety, but its impact on the brain is profound and measurable. It hijacks our most essential neural circuits, eroding self-trust and coloring every perception with fear. But thanks to neuroplasticity, the pathways carved by fear and doubt can be reshaped by practices that foster calm, clarity, and connection. Your brain retains the capacity to reclaim control over your thoughts, memories, and emotions. If these insights resonate, share them with someone who might need to hear that their experiences are real and their brains are capable of healing. Reach out for professional help or lean on a trusted friend. Write a paragraph in your journal or practice 5 minutes of mindful breathing. Each small act of self-compassion is a conscious step towards rewiring your neural circuits away from abuse and toward resilience. Your journey toward healing begins with recognizing that emotional abuse is not your fault and that your brain is not broken beyond repair. Embrace the practices that calm the amygdala, strengthen the prefrontal cortex, and heal the hippocampus. Surround yourself with people who affirm your worth and remind you that you deserve kindness. Over time, the silent wounds hidden within your mind can transform into markers of survival, resilience, and reclaimed agency. The brain you have today, shaped by abuse, is not the brain you will inhabit tomorrow if you choose the path of intentional healing. It is yours to rewrite, one mindful breath, one boundary set, and one supportive conversation at a time.